Welcome to my channel, everybody. Today we're talking about TTArtisan AF 56mm F1.8. TTArtisan rhymes with beautician because this is a portrait lens, and it does take beautiful portrait photos. So it is doing what it's designed or supposed to be doing. So today we're going to look at build quality, image quality, and most importantly, how does this lens perform in the real world. First of all, what we find in the box, we find this back cover, which is pretty interesting, pretty nice, because it also has like this USB-C port, so it's a docking station for future firmware upgrades. Very nice touch. The lens itself is very simple. I have the Fuji X mount version of it, so it's quite lightweight. It does come with this very sexy Leica type of lens hood, and the filter thread is 52mm, so it's quite popular. It's of course equipped with autofocus. It is not weather sealed specifically, but everything works fine. The focal ring works beautifully, quiet and smooth. So overall build quality, I'm very happy about it. And once again, this front cover is beautiful. It looks really nice. But the most important thing is, how does it perform? So let's take a look at the most important categories here. First, sharpness. The lens is sharp, and that's a good news, because we are getting you have to remember, we're getting this lens for really cheap. It's something about around $120, $130. I don't even remember. Let me check real quick. I should be better prepared, no? Shouldn't I be? Okay, it's $129 on their website. So, and it's available for X mount, Z mount, E mount. So it is a really good deal. And look at the sharpness. It is really sharp. In center, perfectly sharp, straight from 1.8. And in the corners, there's a little drop of sharpness. But in case of portrait lens, who cares about the corners? But there's very little drop of sharpness. So the image is really good. When you go down, when you go up with f-stop, the sharpness only improves. But it already was perfect at 1.8, so great job. Distortion, there's almost no distortion, so nothing to talk about here. So geometrically, this lens is really good again. So I'm really surprised. There will be some, things that I found to be improved here, but in most important categories, it performs really well. Vignetting, for example, is another one where you can see that there's very little vignetting. I wouldn't say no vignetting, but very little vignetting. So at 1.8, if you like clear image, this is the lens that performs. When it comes to work against harsh light, this is a little bit of a downside here, because when you look at flaring, it is very visible. And when you look at the stars at f11, shot against the light, you can see that it's not the best look out there. It's nothing terrible, but not the best look. So something to keep in mind. I think that's why they use this shader here to improve that part of performance. And when you use it actually in real life, it really performs really good. Now let's talk about autofocus performance. Autofocus performance is I wouldn't say a downside, because at $130 we're getting a autofocus lens that actually works. It's audible but quiet, nothing too loud, nothing that would deter any video makers out there from using it. The speed of this autofocus is okay. I'm testing it on Fujifilm, so by itself the Fujifilm autofocus system is not the best out on the planet for sure, so you'll get better performance on Sony. But just to say, it's not the fastest or the best, most accurate autofocus out there, but it is accurate and fast enough to, to make it work for you. And I could use it as my main portrait lens on Fujifilm X, and I could actually use it for client jobs, for paid jobs, without any issue, without any problem. Now, focus breathing is something that is quite visible here. It's not a problem at all to me. I don't care, because for example, if you see, if you like cinema, like I do love cinema, you see a lot of anamorphic lenses that they usually present a lot of focus breathing, and nobody cares, because it's also quite cinematic. So this one is quite cinematic, quite visible, something you have to keep in mind if focus breathing is something you don't like. Now let's talk about very important category for this lens. It's bokeh and generally look of the out of sharpness parts of image. And again, good news, it looks good. It's not the softest one out there, but nobody would expect that. But it does have it's like a little bit of retro, swirly touch to it, which I like, and it does separate your model from the background quite nicely. However, it blends very nicely, so something that I actually like about this lens. Now let's talk about close-up image, and this is another very good news, because in close-up, there is a downside here and an upside. Downside is that you cannot come too close from your object. Let me check once again, but this is something about 50 centimeters. millimeters or 1.64 feet. So it's not the close-up lens in particular, but you can get as close as it allows you, and close-up image quality is very good. It is sharp. At 1.8, I was surprised, but it is really sharp. Of course, as usual, if you go that close to the object, you usually want to stop it down to something like 2.5, 2.8, and that's where the sharpness is really perfect. But at 1.8, not too shabby at all, as they say, right? Chromatic aberration and Bokeh. So in these categories, again, this lens performs pretty well. I'm surprised because when you look at this, like for example, image of the text, there's almost none chromatic aberration, maybe some little bit of blue fringing, but really almost none. And when you look at the shot of a dark room with lights on, again, this lens is very well controlled. So to sum up, autofocus, maybe not the fastest one out there on the market, but you would not expect that. It's pretty quiet. You cannot get too close to the object as you would maybe like to. But in the most important categories, this lens shines, and I'm surprised because I didn't expect it to perform that well, specifically taking into consideration its price. But price aside, if you forget that it is a $130 lens, $129 to be specific, this lens performs like much more expensive thing, and you can forget about the price, just buy it and use it as your portrait lens, specifically if portrait is not your main thing. But even if it is your main thing, it is a nice thing to have in the bag because of the bokeh that it presents. I hope that images speak for themselves. My wife took it on paid sessions for their clients. They accepted, they agreed to use those photos in this test, so you can see for yourself that this is a lot of fun and you can create great images with this lens. So I'm very happy that there are like companies like TTArtisan out there that give us those affordable lenses, affordable optics that are not like back in the days pretty horrible quality, but this thing is a game changer. It is a very, very optically good lens. So if you're looking for portrait lens on any of the systems this lens is available, Z mount, E mount or X mount, you can pick this one up easily and enjoy it. I hope you guys liked my review of this lens. If you did, please leave comments down below, thumbs up, subscribe, and of course I see you in the next one. Cheers.